Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever this video finds you, I hope you're having a rad time. I'm the Figure Dude, and on today's Work in Progress Wednesday, we're going to be making two elites of Joey Janela and Hangman Page. Without further ado, let's talk about some figures. Dude. Welcome back. Like I said, today I'm making a couple of elites here of, but not AEW talent, both, but these guys I decided to put together because I saw them in I think it was a Chicago street fight at the original All In, and I've wanted to make a Joey Janela. I've wanted one for a while. He's not like a favorite superstar of mine by any means, but I thought he'd be more relevant when I first saw him at All In, and then like I saw him there, and I'd seen a lot of stuff of I'd seen stuff pop up of him, so I knew who he was. He joined AEW, and then his time there was just very short-lived, and now he just gets in fights at WrestleCons and stuff like that. Hangman Page, obviously, things worked out a little bit differently. He is pretty prominent in AEW. As I'm recording this, he's not doing too much, I don't think. But I wanted to make a Mattel Elite version of both of these guys. So the Joey Janela head sculpt is from Head Gimmicks, and then the AEW head sculpt, obviously that's just from one of the Jazzwares figures. But all I did was repaint the skin tone, got rid of the, covered up the beard and everything on Hangman, and I immediately thought that head sculpt looked better. So I'm excited to get that all painted up. The Joey Janela is just a straight up Daniel Bryan body, and he's going to have this kind of like Nasty Boys paint scheme. And then we've got I think we've got pink flowers, and there's not going to be a lot to the Hangman. I think it's going to look pretty clean. He's got Apollo Crews legs, a Bo Dallas torso, which I thought was the same skin tone as the T-bar arms, but it seems like it's lighter, so I might end up changing that out. I'll see how it looks once I get going, but I might grab a different torso. But the thing I'm most excited for is repainting that head sculpt, and I don't hate the Jazzwares versions, but I think they make him way too tall and they don't capture his build that well. So I've wanted to make an elite version of him for a while, and I figured this was a perfect opportunity. So let's get to it. Alright, starting out with Joey Janela here, I am going to paint the kick pads all black, and then we will put the decals on afterwards. I'm not quite sure what the decals will all cover. They're not cut the normal way that Curb Stomp does have them cut, so I'll have to just kind of see how they fit on there. But I'm going to get the trunks and the kick pads, and then I'll seal those with Mod Podge before I come back with it. On the head sculpt here, so skin tone's already on there, but I'm going to come in with a lighter brown and paint a few layers on it, and then I'll just see. I'll keep adding layers until I find a darkness, and if I'm not happy with it, we can always get a darker brown. But I didn't want to go too dark on the facial hair. It's a lot easier to make it darker than it is to make it lighter, so I always start a little bit lighter. With his hair, I do want to give it the kind of wet, greasy look, so I did do a dark wash in it on the decals here. So like I said, the trunks, those fit fine. Those are easy to put on. The kick pads, so that bad boy one on his left leg, I messed up royally. When I first put it on, I didn't cut it at all, so it was rough. I had to scrap the whole thing. So Curb Stomp normally has it cut so that you just follow the line, cut out the kick pad, boom, place it on there. Well, this one wraps all the way around and it goes down to the kick pad, and it's just one big thing. And I don't know what I was thinking, why I thought that would just cover some of it. Oh, we're out of order here. Don't know how that happened. But anyway, that I messed that up. I haven't had that happen really with any of the other kick pad decals, so that was one specific to the Joey Janela. But Hangman here, same thing. You can always go darker pretty easily. It's harder to go lighter, so I will put a dry brush on his hair instead of going for the kind of wet look. But
facial hair, I kept pretty light to start out. I started out with the Apollo Crews legs, wasn't that happy just with how it was coming together, and then I decided once I was looking at reference pictures, I would switch to the Macho Man legs. So did some work here painting this all black, and I'm going to switch it up and come back in and repaint these legs to get what I really want. And a little less painting, obviously, because they're already black, but then filling these in and getting some decals for them. So different things to paint. I guess I had to do the boots anyway, but this was a good switch. I was happy making this one. And this was just the plain black Vallejo. I did do like a tan sole of the boot, which is accurate to the boots that he wears. They aren't white. Which I always have fun with. Anytime I do a different color on the sole. A lot of Mattel's figures don't have the soles painted, so I do like adding that extra effect to it. And then the decals on this Hangman are pretty easy. It's just a matter of lining them up.
There we go. Time to finish things up here. And the Hangman I love. I feel like the Jazzwares figures they've looked good in the render, and then it just doesn't come out the way I am hoping. And I feel like I got what I wanted. Obviously, I started, I completely changed the legs as I went. I ended up using the same lower legs, but then I used these Macho Man upper legs with the tassels, and part of that was because I was looking at reference pictures and I realized that he had tassels that are kind of more on the back of his pants, but I don't have any other figures that have molded tassels on. So with the decals, it still fit on there well, and I'm really happy with it. I was able to get the knee pads on there the way I wanted to, just right below those tassels. I didn't use the lower leg portion because that wouldn't have fit, and I think this is a more accurate look. I did lose the original boot decals that came from Curb Stomp, so I went ahead and printed these off from 3XR's library, which are the correct design for the front of the boots. He had some Hangman page decals in there. The head sculpt for Hangman, I think looks so much better repainted. As soon as I just got the skin tone on it, I thought it looked better, which I've said before, Jazzwares, some of their sculpts are really nice. I've repainted a bunch of MJF and they brutalize it with their paint application, and it's not necessarily the true effects the way Mattel does it. I don't know this process behind all of it. It's just some of whatever they do, it's just not great all the time. So I do really like the Hangman sculpt here. If you just got the dry brush over that. And then the beard, I've been trying to do more dark washes with just a lot of really light layers, especially when you've got sculpted on facial hair. I think that looks really good, and I'm really happy with this Hangman. I think it's one of the better head sculpts I've done. And then I decided to give him the bigger torso as well, especially with these legs. Those legs are a little bit thicker, and I feel like that torso fits in a little bit better. Just really happy with it. And then the Joey Janela was simple, but I completely effed up those boot decals at first. I didn't cut them at all. I didn't really think about it, but they definitely, the whole decal was there. I needed to cut it apart, and I just didn't. I'm spacing out, I guess. Once I started to apply it, I was like, oh wow, this isn't going well. So I did end up cutting it all apart, putting it back together in a few different pieces there, and it still turned out well. It dawned on me, while I was doing it, that it's like a Nasty Boys attire with the splatter paint and the writing, the font that is there. And then this head sculpt I'm really happy with. Ordered it a long time ago from Head Gimmicks. He did a pledge for it, and the Joey Janela I'd seen from Riot Zoo had the sunglasses and a hat, which I think looks really good. I might end up ordering that anyway to pop on here. But the sculpt here I think looks really good. The hair, I did accidentally break it. I pressed it down, and you can see on the right side there, there's a little bit of blue tack under his ear. I had to
glue it and kind of fix that it up there, but it worked out. There's a dark wash on his hair there, which I think made it look, turned out really well. That might be everything. I'm trying to look here and anything else I needed to hit on before we rolled out of here, but both of these guys I've wanted to make Mattel Hangman, but obviously we've got Jazzwares, so it was just on my list, just not high up there. And then Joey Janela, again, I thought he was going to be a lot more relevant. He was at All In when these two fought in their Chicago street fight, and then was around in the very beginning, and then next thing I knew, he was no longer with Penelope Ford, and he was gone from AEW. So glad I got to them finally. I thought that was a good pairing for Work in Progress Wednesday today. I feel like I don't see a lot of customs of either of these guys really, which again is just because Joey Janela's kind of disappeared, and we get plenty of Hangman Page figures anyway. So if you've stuck around all the way to the end here, I appreciate it very much. Please continue to like, share, subscribe, and remember, you can't buy happiness, but you can buy more action figures. Figure Dude out.